Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. Thanks for your work on all kinds of issues. Tax gap we talked about today, and of course improper payments. You're our watchdog, and it's discouraging to me when I see the fact that between 2013 and 2014, the most recent year for which we have data, we've actually seen improper payments go up, not down, after years of some progress. And so this committee and the Ways and Means Committee I served on previously focused a lot on these issues. The IRS reforms and other things made some incremental progress, but we're going the wrong way. And so we do need your ideas, and we need you to continue to be vigilant on this. You've talked about on the improper payments, EITC. You've talked about health care. You look at the chart up there. You've talked about Pentagon spending recently. One that you haven't talked about is the Affordable Care Act. A lot of our focus is on the mandatory side and the improper payments. This is a whole new mandatory program, of course, a big new entitlement program where we do not have the verification. So one reason I think we're losing ground here is we're starting new programs over the last 5, 6 years that actually create additional challenges. And on the Affordable Care Act, specifically income verification for the exchanges. You testified for the committee in July on your secret shopper investigation. You found serious integrity problems in the process for verifying eligibility for the ACA subsidies. And unbelievable. I think there were 10 or 12 secret shoppers, and I think 9 or 10 of them cheated the system. And you know, obviously a huge concern there. You told us that you were looking into that, you're going to work on it, but you said you were having real trouble getting from HHS information about the exchanges, about the customers, the information you needed to evaluate whether subsidies are going to the right people who are entitled for them. Can you give us an update on your investigation on that front and whether HHS has been cooperative and expeditiously getting the documents and data that your team needs to analyze this?
Yeah. We're in much better shape now. We've had several meetings with them. We've gotten all the information that we need in order to complete our study and our investigation. You know, they're listening more carefully now to our recommendations and suggestions. However, the HHS-IG and we have been both looking at how CMS, the accuracy of the data provided by CMS and the state exchanges, the marketplaces, to IRS, and have made recommendations to IRS that they need to check some of that information so that they can accurately match it during the return process. So we're looking at all aspects of the controls throughout that whole system. So better cooperation in getting the data. We're still doing work. We expect to have additional recommendations, but we're getting cooperation from CMS.
Okay, we look forward to that report, and I think, you know, sooner rather than later. Again, appreciate the fact that you're going to be our watchdog on that. On the Data Act, you and I talked about it a little just prior to the hearing, so I wanted to mention it. As you know, this is legislation that was passed back in 2013, and the notion is to put all grants and contracts in a transparent way online, let people see it, help you in terms of your ability to be that watchdog, but also help us here in Congress to do our oversight responsibilities and allow taxpayers to see, you know, where their money's going. It expands the Federal Funding Accountability and Transparency Act. It's a big new improvement in the quality of data, spending data. My question to you, I guess, is whether you think it's working well. Section 5 of the Data Act requires OMB to determine whether it's possible to automate reporting by grantees and contractors. And Section 5 was, you know, meant to ensure that we were going to get better information, standardized electronic format, determine whether they're able to use that format to automate the creation of reports, reduce the compliance costs, among other things, to these grantees and contractors. To my understanding, OMB has yet to recruit any grantees or contractors to participate in the pilot program that was set up. Are you investigating whether OMB is complying with this part of the law?
Yes, we have efforts underway to look at this. You know, we're not required by the law to report until like 2017 or so, but I've started right in the beginning. I want to make sure that this is done properly. So we're looking at that. I'm concerned that they haven't really identified the proper pilot for the contract side in that area, and they haven't finalized plans yet for the grant side, although they're a little further ahead in the grant than the contract side. But they have to start it. Under the law, they have to have a 12-year period of time under the pilot. So if they don't start soon this summer, they're going to not be able to meet that requirement. So we're working on it. I'm also concerned that they have yet to come up with a program inventory, which was required by the 2010 Government Performance and Results Modernization Act. Right now, we do not have a complete inventory across federal government of all its programs. So you can't, it's hard when we go in and try to identify overlap and duplication. It takes a lot of effort and work to be able to do that. I'm concerned that the governance structure, there's going to be lost time during the change in administration. So I can provide more.
I know, Senator Warner and I were the authors of that legislation. We're concerned about the implementation, and again, we've talked about this privately, but I hope you will continue to stay on top. You talk about the grantee portion of it. HHS has been given the lead on that, but OMB has not designated anyone, to my knowledge, to take the lead on the contractor part. And so I'm concerned that they're not meeting their deadlines. And for you to do your job and us to do our job, we've got to have better financial reporting. I assume you agree with that. And
Definitely.
at all the agencies and departments, not just DOD. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.